I'm Nancy Fox. I'm a medium for John Lennon of the Beatles band, passed on to heaven. John Lennon explaining, I am in my medium's being. She is a clear vessel of light. She's also clairvoyant, astral projects, and she has been psychic her whole life. Her daughters know this, and many others, all during her lifetime. She has accurate psychic predictions and accurate psychic dreams. She is very psychic, clairvoyant, and hard to fathom for many. And she was a real estate lady, known as a real estate lady, 10-year realtor business at Dilbeck and Remax Olson, and costume designer of the century, they call her all around the world, Emmy nominee costume designer from the 1980s, known as Nancy G. Fox, with a long resume on imdb.com, and longtime sober AA member. She's in her 30th year of sobriety. She is sober since age 25, a young age, and since 1985, February 9th. And at that time, Jesus Christ removed her obsession to drink alcohol and party, and he removed it from her body, and she felt it lifted from her being. And for over 29 years, in her 30th year of sobriety now, she has lived a very spiritual life. And she is somebody who has advanced her psychic being to the highest heights and her higher consciousness. And she's worked diligently at this all during her sobriety, and even since age 19, when she first went to an AA meeting on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, Friday night meeting, and Roxbury Park AA meetings in Beverly Hills. And she got sober the first time at age 19 in Beverly Hills in AA meetings, and stayed sort of sober, she calls it, the first year, and drinking maybe, or doing something, beer occasionally, or something like that, well, we don't want to say that on here right now, but whatever, she did something during that time. And actually, we are just explaining, she got sober the first time at age 19. Then later on at 21, when she was a legal age to drink, she was drinking vodka martinis and beer and wine and champagne and mimosas and in-style sort of things with movie crew people, and margaritas at Lupe's on Melrose Avenue by Western Costume, where she worked, where she got the costumes from as a costume designer, wardrobe supervisor. So she's a sober AA long-timer, costume designer for 18 years, real estate lady for 12 years. Her license expired, and that's because people set her up, slandered her, made her broken stuck instantly, and that is when she became a medium clear to save life internationally. She is telepathic, clairvoyant, and does angel board readings since 2005, and when she ordered her angel board online from Angel Board Alliance, she posted her gifts and skills online, and a job came from China to the front door. It arrived October 7th, 2005, and it was stolen by a tall woman, and she stole it in 2007, October 5th or 8th or 17th. 5 notices came with a stop traffic job for her to save 1,000 people in the Conejo Valley in her Westlake Village small town community. Thousand Oaks, Newbury Park, Simi Valley, Oak Park, and Agora High Schools in danger, and for her to save 1,000 lives. Calabasas probably in there, Conejo Valley, and they stole that by a mortgage broker. She stole it from 5 places, or had somebody else steal it, but that was stolen also. These 2 people, women, are still stealing Nancy's money. And then in 2008, they sent predator stalkers zipping around the property, and Nancy is a psychic, and her psychic reading said that people who were pretended to have sting equipment were framing them to take them to slavery. And that's what her reading said summer 2008, when a packs of rapist stalker predators came zipping around following her to work, school, ballet class, and parked on their street. So she freaked out, of course, as, oh my God, why are people stalking us? That her psychic reading said that they were framing them to sell them to slavery, and that Figaro the cat was bugged. Hind leg Figaro bugged was the tip she got, and for 5 years she's been reporting the stings are the killers, get them away from us. And she's been reporting and reporting and reporting to get these stings hackers with I Spy bugging off of that equipment, and they're still at it. They hack all her everything she's saying, and then in 2009 she was slandered and set up by her evil sister, and she's a drunk, we say, practicing alcoholic. And Nancy is sober long-timer, spiritual person who's in 12-step recovery more than half her life. So the sister, who Nancy hardly ever sees at all in her life, she lives in Mammoth Lakes, moved away when Nancy was 11, and she never sees Steve and Linda, her brother and sister. They're much older, and she talked to them a couple times a year, couple times only. And communicating to you, I am John Lennon, explaining the sister slandered Nancy, her sister, and she told a horrible lie to the Department of Child Protective Services. And here's the drunkard in Mammoth Lakes, hours away, who never wanted children, doing this to the suburb real estate lady, committed mother who does everything for everybody, is a single mom and dedicated to their elderly mom, and called her every day and drove to Sherman Oaks twice a week when she was diagnosed with early dementia. And that's Nancy Fox, the do-gooder, doing everything for everybody, the dedicated family person, the honest, ethical real estate lady. And that's drunk Linda Fox in Mammoth Lakes, who never wanted children, who lives hours away and does whatever she wants. So she's known as selfish, uppity, impatient, and self-centered. And she's party-hardy sinner, Linda. And Ed, her boyfriend, they are practicing alcoholics. And Nancy's an Al-Anon and normally wouldn't rag on people, but she prays somebody do an intervention on them so they would shut their liar mouth, drunk mouth, as she knows, because she's so psychic. And they set her up on purpose, 2009, to steal Nancy's Son of God money. And they plotted it out with Tall Jan, who stole her job October 2005, and Janine, the mortgage broker crook, who stole it October 2007, who lives in fantasy land and pretends she is Nancy Fox and rips her off. So those two ladies and drunk Linda and Ed steal Nancy's money with Stephen Ojai, who's 10 years older, Nancy's brother, and they rip off all the money Nancy's making, and Steve and Linda set up Nancy Fox. And in 2009, she had a few sips of coffee that somebody put lighter fluid in to kill her and her daughter Jessica, who was 17 and who drank coffee then also. And she's now 22 years old, over 7 years sober. And Nancy tasted the coffee. Her tongue swelled up. She sweated. And oh my God, who's trying to murder me? So she did write a long letter about it and sent it to court, DCFS, all over the place, that somebody put something in the coffee. So, and she figured out between their psychic tips had said 6 months previously, they take people to slavery trafficking, slavery it said, by poisoning and lying. And so that's by conspiracies. And that's how they do it. And the coffee, she threw it all away, of course, and so they tried to kill her in her coffee. One of the stings came in and put lighter fluid in their coffee. At the same time, the brother Steve Fox lied Nancy Fox was suicidal, never in her life. And the same day, the son of Satan, Ron Levine, ordered a body bag to murder the Son of God, female Jesus Christ, Nancy Fox, and her daughters. So body bag, lethal coffee, lied suicide, and Linda Fox lied Nancy wasn't taking psychotropic medication. Never taken it, never needed it, and never will need it. So that's a big lie to set her up. So then in November 2009, and by the way, Nancy started reporting crime tips early spring 2009, and Channel wrote billions of pages, faxed them everywhere to explain how they run slavery so her and her daughters wouldn't be murdered. And in November 2009, she faxed a list of tips to the Sheriff's Department to stop traffic at Department of Child Protective Services, that they traffic by stalking and framing and even put the license plates of the stalkers in. And she put crime tips in there that they do this by people sneakily adopting the daughters of single mothers, and they don't tell the parents, and they frame them by stalking and lying. And what happened, the setup they did to Nancy Fox, they do it to many single moms with daughters, mostly, and some sons, but they frame people this way to set them up, and then they steal all their money, and then they take them away by a not-needed fire truck. And that's what Nancy figured out, and she faxed some tips November 2009, and then another sheriff came and handcuffed her and took her for a psych evaluation. So she did a psych evaluation, and a commissioner, a female judge commissioner, at a court hearing that Nancy requested, as she called the Patients' Rights Advocate Lady, and Patients' Rights Advocate Lady came, and a female commissioner of California ruled Nancy, worried mother, concerned citizen, in quotations, good Samaritan, spiritual woman who has psychic dreams her whole life that are accurate, who reported tips in the event they could happen, not a danger to herself or others, of course, and Nancy left, November 2009. So now we see, we're telling you this, and I'm John Lennon explaining, they are stealing Nancy's psychic guru, psychic writing money, her profit writing money. They are ripping it off from her business, Meeting for God, DBA, doing business as an individual. And they are doing this by a lawyer, lying to Chase North Hollywood and to every bank probably, as Nancy's the wealthiest woman in the world. So here she is, a tycoon, supposed to be loaded with having her money, living in mansions with limousines to speak to all the leaders and Barack Obama and presidents and Queen of England and everybody with readings in person in a luxurious mansion, having catered parties with film industry friends and whatnot and musicians she knows. And she's supposed to be living this hobnob life to stop slavery internationally with her funds that she's made with her psychic writing. So they're stealing it from the bank, Meeting for God, DBA, Nancy G. Fox-Taylor, or it might say the Fox-Taylor family, which is Nancy Gail Fox-Taylor, legal name, a la Nancy Fox, Jessica Denise Taylor, age 22, Hannah Grace Judith Taylor, age 19. And they have power of attorney, as Nancy, mom, gave it to them. And she's never given anybody else one. So a lawyer is stealing her money by lying Nancy's gravely disabled and then stealing all her psychic writing money and lying she can't run her business, so they're all running it, a group of people. Well, how do you run a business when you don't have money to fix your laptop or rent an apartment and get a fax line? She can't even make a long-distance call from her cell phone or buy stamps because they steal every nickel she's earning. Her business post office box is empty, no Hope Pack and Ship. They steal everything, and they stole it all from her Sherman Oaks post office box on Ventura Lot also. And they've been doing this little racket for years. And in 2009, Nancy wrote many letters, sent many faxes for victims' money. 2010, she wrote her best mom story, DCFSvictimizing.com, put it on WordPress a couple years later, and people send money because she was victimized by her brother and sister, and set up to DCFS and trying to raise money so her and her daughters wouldn't be murdered, as they do it by robbing money and making people stuff and slandering them. So the lies the sister told were deleted in the court by Jessica Taylor, her daughter, and her ex-husband, Darren Taylor. Summer 2009, Linda Fox's heinous lies were deleted in their entirety, and DCFS put the lies back in July 2010. And Nancy lost custody because the drunk sister lied, and DCFS put the liar drunk's lies back in. Now the liar drunk sister steals all Nancy's money that she's writing letters for to get a lawyer to sue drunk Linda Fox and Steve Fox. So the molester, we call him. He molested Nancy Fox, and he told her this when Jessica was 10 days old. So that's called selfish, self-centered. So Steve Fox is 10 years older. So they're the sinners, they're selfish. Nancy had nothing to do with them. Saw them a few times a year, and they hardly ever saw the elderly mother. So that, Denise S. Fox, she planned to live with Nancy, Hannah, Jessica in her old age, so they don't give a you-know-what about Denise's wishes either, the elder. And they sold her house for $300 less than Denise could have made illegally, as Nancy Fox is the first trustee for Denise Fox and Denise Fox's individual will living trust. Now, they are probably also lying that that's a family trust. No, that is a will from when Denise passes on. That is a living trust, and Denise is alive. She's the trustee. Nancy's the first trustee. And they are lying Nancy Jessica Hannah's money is family money. And no, that's an individual will, Denise S. Fox, called the Fox Family Trust. So they're lying Nancy's gravely disabled and then steal all her money she's earning for her psychic writing, and lying she can't run her business. And she is the one making all the money with her writing by me, John Lennon, and George Harrison, and God, and Jesus, and Mary, and Lady Diana, and Nixon, and JFK, and angels, and apostles, and her father, Benner Douglas Fox. So she's making the money with her writing. She's the medium doing all the work. And other psychics are robbing her money, and that's a tarot card reader named Mary who sends fraud reports to steal Nancy's money. And they've got a own little racket over there, Forrest the Full Moon Wicca Witch, who copycats Nancy Fox's YouTube, and then the mortgage broker crook, rapist Janine, who lives in la fantasy land, who is not in reality, and they pretend they're Nancy Fox. They copycat, they mimic her, they do plagiarism, and then they rob all the pay she's making. And they're doing it by a lawyer lying. She's gravely disabled to banks. So they are outright lying, breaking the court laws of California, as they are not sending the commissioner's ruling from November 2009 USC Augusta Hawkins. Commissioner Judge Court ruling said Nancy's ruled a concerned citizen, a good Samaritan, and she left. And that's the ruling. That means you can never bring anything else up about even having a psych eval, or that is slandering. And she keeps bringing it up because she is broke, and she knows people are ripping her off. As a group of people lied, they were on her AOL email, PayPal address, medium4JesusGod@AOL.com. And that's this little con man laundering ring who framed her and slandered her, and so did the ladies who stole her jobs off the front door, because they saw how much money the Son of God is worth, and they all said, I'll take that Son of God job. We'll say Nancy can't do it. Then we'll steal all of her money and slander her and send fraud reports all over the world. And that's what they do. And that's what they do. Jan, Janine, Linda, Ed, Steve, and a CPS worker who a fireman calls Dee Dee. And the fireman and this CPS caseworker he calls Dee Dee aim each other to capture people by fire trucks. So he works for the Antichrist and pretends he's a fireman. As firemen are supposed to save lives and go rescue the slaves underground that they've captured that are raping to death and snuffing and snuff sets. So firemen are supposed to save lives, and they're supposed to go underground and rescue people. So firemen are supposed to stop murder, torture, and kidnap, or not even. They're supposed to put fires out. But they send LAPD fire trucks by pretend firemen who aim to Dee Dee, a caseworker, who captures them for her uncle, the Antichrist, Ron Levine. And that's the racket going on as they steal all of Nancy's money she's making. As she faxed all the channel writing from God and Jesus explaining, and Mary and her father, Doug Fox, how they run slavery. And she hand wrote it as they made her broken stuck and she didn't have a computer. And she faxed 10-hour faxes even, 2009 and November, December, and 2010, and then finally had money to buy a laptop. Then did it from the laptop, and she's been through 3. They're all broken. They're all $200 laptops, most inexpensive one she could find that would fit in her purse. And she's done this broke, without a car, and many crimes they are committing against her, all to steal her money. So she sent all those tips 2009, and then a job came May 2010, 100-page faxes from Lithuanian human rights man and Barack Obama, somebody associated with him, with White House stationery for Nancy Fox, Son of God only, sent to Royal Crown Plaza, fax machine, LAX Airport, Royal Crown Plaza, and the same caseworker who they call DCFS Chatsworth person, I'm saying, she stole Nancy's stock traffic at DCFS job. And she's the one who does the traffic and does the capturing and framing and setups and slandering in Mickey Mouse paperwork. So they're all a bunch of shady crooks. So she stole the job May 2010, and that came from all Nancy's hard, diligent work 2009 faxing. Then they say, oh, it's so messy that they took the business over. Well, it was messy because she didn't have any money for a computer because they set her up, framed her real estate deals, and she's suddenly broken stuck without a money or car. So she had to send all the handwritten channel writing. She didn't have a way to type it. If she went to the library, they'd send fire trucks after her and ambulances to fire trucks and Kinko's and to Trader Joe's and the mall. So she risked her life just to walk down the street, and you can only type at the library for an hour in Sherman Oaks, or maybe it was 2 hours. It's 2 hours in North Hollywood, but an hour of typing, she could never type. 10 hours of channel writing, she couldn't sit there and type it for an hour. So then they say, oh, it's so messy that they took the job away. Well, why is it messy? Because she doesn't have money for a computer to type it. So that's the game they play always. They call sandwiching. So 2009, Nancy sent 10-hour faxes, 10 hours of channel writing. She wrote 10,000 pages explaining how they run slavery internationally, and faxed it all over the world, and then typed it, sent it all over in 10, and ever since, and sent many anonymous tips and many letters for stop traffic office money, victims, best mom money by her story, DCFSvictimizing.com, and lawyer money to sue Steve and Linda for slandering, and then family law court money to go to family law court to prove how they framed her to take custody. And all the money that comes for lawyers, the people who slandered her and set her up, steal that money also. And so 2010, then, so she's sending all these letters for money, and it all came, and a psychic stole it, and she still steals her victims' money online. So all her profit-writing psychic money is stolen. And then another job came to be the White House medium, and that came before she started at the Psychic Eye as a verbal reader, where she worked for $50 an hour as a reader for psychic readings, medium for God, doing readings, and she quit there, by the way, July 2012. And then she started her WordPress the day after she quit and started posting all my profit channel writing, and George Harrison is here, and all of us on WordPress to get channel writing jobs. Then the same psychic who stole her White House medium job, June or July 2010, that was supposed to be handed to Nancy at the Psychic Eye bookstore, and if it conflicted with her verbal job she was going to start, then she was supposed to not work at the Psychic Eye and go lease her own office. So that was stolen. And then that same psychic, a group of them, steal her victims' money, Best Mom money, Stop Traffic Office money, profit pay, meals, gifts, gobbling up her Chinese chicken salad, Maria's Kitchen spaghetti, clomping around her size 10 shoes, size 4 azure suits, grilled cheese truck they sent for Nancy Fox because they want her to be free, financial freedom, getting tips out, flowing along, fast computers with a limo, top-of-the-line Wi-Fi, fax lines, mansion nearby, all to get the flow, to get the work all out. Round the clock, they don't want her to miss a minute. They even want a PetSmart person for her and a maid and a butler, so she gets all of the work done, all the work assignments, and answers all the leaders' questions. They steal the list of questions, they steal the assignments, they steal everything, they steal responses that are from Nancy's work, sent from leaders, they break White House envelope seals, and steal everything sent for Nancy Fox, Son of God. They steal the Son of God. There's a arrest list, Son of God conspiracy, that Son of God is supposed to go over the arrest list. They rip everything off and lie they handled it with Son of God. And no, they did not. She doesn't receive her mail or notices or stop slavery instructions. She doesn't receive her bank wires or assignments or meals or gifts or presents or mansion titles. She doesn't receive any of it. It is all ripped off by the 2 or more lies, Sons of Satan conspiracy. So how many jobs did they steal? They've stolen 1,000 jobs. Then they steal the money Nancy's made with her 8 years of work as a psychic and her 5 years of channel profit writing. They steal the money she has made and her 20 months of putting it on WordPress with a PayPal address. They've stolen all of it. Then they take $2 million of the money they steal from her that's sent for her psychic writing work and give it to another psychic and say they are having someone else handle it. And that's what they do. And they don't say a word to Nancy Fox. The bank isn't calling, Chase North Hollywood, where her account is, Medium for God, DBA, doing business as an individual. And it's Nancy's money. And it's not Linda Fox's, and it's not Jan or Janine's, and it certainly isn't DCFS's. And it isn't the fraud psychic, Forrest the Full Moon Wicca Witch, or Fat Mary the tarot card reader. It's not their money. It is Nancy's money she's earned. And it's Beth Mom's money for her DCFVictimizing.com WordPress story. She put it on there. She sent it since 2009 and 10. And that letter has brought $90,000 an hour that Mary the Fat tarot card reader is gobbling up on Western Union. They're just all the little devils grabbing everything Nancy's earning. And it is money to stop them from raping and torturing babies. And the pedophiles hack Nancy, who raped babies in diapers and 3, 4, and 5-year-olds every day at 5 in the morning and 7 in the evening. And everybody's sending money from all over the world to save Nancy Fox and her daughters, and it's all from Nancy's letters. And then all these people run around and rip it off and send fraud reports to the bank. So a lawyer is lying, a lawyer from Mammoth Lakes is lying to the bank that Nancy can't handle her work and that she is gravely disabled as he sits there knowing they're stealing all the money Nancy's making for her psychic writing. Nancy's an AA old-timer, and his customer, Linda, is the one who's practicing alcoholic, who needs an intervention done, because she is murdering with drunk stupidity, and so is Tall Jan, who stole Nancy's job off the front door. They want that Son of God money, and so does Janine, and they plotted it out since Nancy was 17, and that is Jan and Linda and Steve and Mr. Barrett. And they plotted it out to steal her money and lie they do the Son of God job by taking people underground to a medical lab and lying they're helping. And that's where they slaughter them and rape them and do lobotomy, hysterectomy. So they are literally slaughtering people with the Son of God money that's Nancy Fox's to save females. And I'm John Lennon, and the jobs are stolen October 5th, 2005 by Tall Bam Jan off the front door. That's what Jesus calls her. Airhead Dam Jan stole Nancy's job. So 500 million people have been murdered for the past 8 years because she stole her Son of God Angel Board job off the front door. Then Dam Janine mortgage broker crook stole it October 2007, plastered her devil name all over the Son of God named Nancy Fox, and then Janine lies she's the emergency angel squad, the meeting for God rah-rah squad who are spies. Then DCFS caseworker, who the fireman calls Dee Dee, she stole it from the Royal Crown Plaza, LAX airport area, Royal Crown Plaza by the freeway, and LAX Boulevard, whatever that is. She stole it from the Royal Crown Plaza Hotel, fax machine from the front desk, 100-page fax for Sean David Finnegan, attention to him for Nancy Fox, our psychic medium for the White House, it said. Then a job came before she signed it, the psychic guy. She was supposed to be handed to there as a courtesy, and she was also supposed to be handed many notices as a courtesy when she was a realtor at Remax Olson. Nothing has reached her yet. Everything gets stolen by crooks. So, psychic guy, that she's supposed to shop for 700 houses when she worked as a realtor for safe houses and to hire messiahs. And that was stolen, never received it. And they stole her Son of God job, the $10 million that came October 8th, 2007, off the front door of her office building or off her private real estate office door. So that's those jobs. Then, so that is May 2010, and then summer 2010, July 2010, before she signed as a reader at the Psychic Eye. And then many jobs came when she quit the Psychic Eye, because she sent her resume around the world that she quit trying to get channel writing jobs, as that's what the money's for, is her channel writing. Then they run around and say she's not doing enough readings for that to be her money. It's not for readings. It's for her channel writing that she's been doing since early 2009. It's for 5 years of writing. That's what it's for, because she writes for God and Jesus. So obviously she's worth a lot of money because she writes for God and Jesus. And everybody's stealing it, and that's the devil in Los Angeles. Will somebody please rectify this, and please stop them? The money is sent from every leader for Nancy Fox only to be in a mansion gated with her daughters, or they might have a mansion next door of their own with gated driveways and bodyguards who they hire. They're AA Al-Anon friends who they hire, people they trust. So the people are stealing the money that Nancy's raising for bodyguards and then say theirs for covering, and they are staying under covers. They're invisible stings, and they steal it and lie they're covering. No, they cover to rob Nancy's money. They rob her money, rob her mail, rob her house titles, rob her presents, pay people to lie and make fraud reports. So it's the biggest robbery ring in history. They are mass murdering with the money that Nancy has made to stop them from killing people. And they're setting up a nuclear war attack because they haven't stopped ripping it off, and they won't shut their trap. And I'm John Lennon saying, would you please stop this war